Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
Great to be here.
So you sent over a fascinating batch of articles this week. Really highlights how many different directions the tech world is pulling us in right now.
Yeah, it's a lot. You've got these massive legal battles, some really clever innovations popping up. It's hard to keep track sometimes.
Exactly. So we thought we'd do a bit of a deep dive today, focus on a few key developments and, try to figure out what they actually mean.
Sounds good. These stories, they aren't just about shiny new gadgets, right? They really show the power dynamics, the big tech leaps, and just, well, the incredible speed everything's moving at.
Definitely. Let's maybe start with that Google antitrust ruling. Feels like a heavyweight fight that finally got a decision.
Right, the one with the 8 states involved. Took 2 years.
Yeah, and the judge ruled Google did violate antitrust laws in the ad tech market. That's pretty significant, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about the ad tech market. It's the engine behind so many online ads. The complaint was basically that Google was, controlling too much of it. Both sides of the transaction.
Giving them an unfair advantage,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. And the idea that they might have to sell off Google Ad Manager, wow, that could seriously shake up the whole online advertising world.
Like changing the rules for a major highway intersection, you said. Could affect everyone.
Pretty much. Advertisers, websites relying on ad money, maybe even us, the consumers, eventually.
And Google's response, Leanne Mulholland, saying they won half of this case and will appeal the other half. So this isn't over yet.
Not by a long shot. It's a landmark ruling, yeah. Shows regulators are getting serious about big tech dominance. But the appeal means more legal fights. We still don't know the final outcome.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Will these rulings actually lead to a more open internet, or are they just bumps in the road for these huge companies?
That's the big question, really. Okay, switching gears a bit. OpenAI. It feels like they're really pushing hard on AI that writes code.
Yeah, first there were those whispers about AnySphere, the Cursor folks, and now they're reportedly talking about acquiring Windsurf. They make Codeium.
Right, Codeium.
Yeah.
It signals just how important that code generation market is becoming, especially for OpenAI.
Why, though? Why is coding the big thing for them right now?
Well, think about OpenAI's main goal, building smarter AI. And creating things, building things, that's a key sign of intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Code is how software gets built.
It's the language of the digital world.
Precisely. So if they acquire these coding tools, they're basically giving their AI the power to not just talk about stuff, but to actually build stuff, generate real functionality.
Ah, okay. So it could massively speed up software development, like apps, big industrial systems, everything.
Potentially, yes. It's moving beyond just text generation. It's a pretty big step.
Okay, interesting. Now, from digital code to something, well, physical. This story about Theseus, the defense tech company.
Oh, yeah, the drone one. That's wild.
They built a drone at a hackathon. Apparently, it can beat GPS jamming. And now, the U.S. Special Forces are interested. They got funding, all because of a viral tweet.
It's kind of like a modern fairy tale, isn't it? GPS jamming is a huge problem. In conflict zones, it can just blind critical tech.
Right.
So the fact that this small team in that kind of environment came up with a solution that got that kind of attention, it shows a real shift.
In how defense tech gets developed.
Yeah, maybe. It suggests that, being nimble, having fresh ideas, that can be super valuable for these really tough problems. And sometimes a bit of luck, like a tweet going viral, helps too.
It really makes you wonder what other small projects out there could suddenly become huge, right?
Totally. Okay, speaking of huge, Meta. They're in another antitrust trial.
And apparently Zuckerberg at one point floated the idea of, what was it? Wiping everyone's graphs and having them start again?
Yeah.
Just to make Facebook relevant again.
Yeah. I mean, wow, that sounds drastic.
Doesn't it? Your social graph, your connections, that is Facebook.
Exactly. Suggesting getting rid of that, it really shows how worried they must be about staying relevant, especially with younger people flocking to other platforms.
Like TikTok.
Right. It raises a massive question. Can a platform that big, that embedded in our lives, actually hit reset like that?
And it's kind of telling that they stopped reporting Facebook's user numbers right around when TikTok really started exploding, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That timing definitely raised some eyebrows. Transparency with user numbers is important for trust. When recording changes, especially next to a rising competitor, people start asking questions.
Yeah, about the narrative they're trying to control. Okay, slightly less drama. AI is now apparently being used to figure out where photos were taken.
Yeah, using things like ChatGPT. It's pretty cool, actually.
How does that even work?
Well, it's what they call multimodal AI. It understands different types of data, images, and text. So it analyzes the picture, looks for clues, then uses its web search abilities to pinpoint the location.
Like having a little AI detective analyze your holiday snaps.
Sort of, yeah. It just shows how AI is getting baked into everyday tools, making them smarter in ways we didn't really expect.
And speaking of smarter AI, Grok now has memory, like ChatGPT and Gemini.
Yep, finally joined the club. It's in beta, but yeah, it can remember details from past conversations now, available on the web and the apps in the US.
Does that actually make a big difference?
Oh, I think so, fundamentally. Imagine chatting with someone who remembers what you discussed yesterday versus someone who forgets everything instantly.
Yeah, context makes a huge difference.
Exactly. With memory, these AIs can build on things, learn what you like, give much more relevant answers over time. It's much closer to a real conversation.
Right, less like a Q&A machine, more like, well, an assistant that actually knows you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift to the real-world impact again. Big tech and climate change. Apple made an announcement.
They did. Said they've cut their greenhouse gas emissions by about 60% since 2015.
60%, that's a lot.
It really is. Given Apple's size, a cut like that actually matters. And it sets a standard, puts pressure on other big companies maybe.
Shows how tech companies are getting involved, even if indirectly, through their operations and supply chains.
Definitely. It's about energy use, product design, the whole life cycle.
Okay, then there's Ryan Breslow,
Yeah.
back as CEO of Bolt. And he's talking about a one-click crypto and everyday payments thing, a super app.
Yeah, that's his big comeback plan, it seems. Merging crypto and regular payments smoothly in one app.
That sounds ambitious, especially with crypto being so up and down.
It's definitely ambitious. If it works, it could make using crypto for normal stuff much easier. But, the regulations are still tricky and the market's still volatile. Big hurdles remain.
Yeah, whether people will actually adopt it widely, that's
Yeah.
the question. Okay, another hurdle story, NVIDIA. They want to sell those H20 AI chips to China, but the U.S. government says they need a license now.
Yep. Feels like another move in that ongoing tech tension between the U.S. and China.
The tech Cold War, as some call it.
Yeah, pretty much. These advanced AI chips are seen as strategically vital. So the U.S. is tightening controls. NVIDIA mentioned maybe making some chips in the U.S. to deal with this.
But no real details yet.
No, sounds like they're still figuring it out. It just shows how tangled up tech, economics, and global politics are right now. Government rules can really change the game.
It's like a giant chess match.
Yeah.
And the drama isn't just global, right? Even between software companies. Figma sent a cease and desist.
Yeah, to a company called Lovable. They use the name Dev Mode for a feature, but Figma already has a trademarked product called Dev Mode.
Ah, classic trademark dispute. Protecting the brand.
Exactly. Figma's invested a lot in that name, especially for developers. They don't want confusion. Seems small, but in a crowded market, these things matter.
Then there's the Rippling versus Deal lawsuit. Sounds like a spy novel, allegations of employee spying.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Rippling is suing Deal, claiming they spied on employees. These kinds of fights happen, unfortunately, when competition gets fierce.
And the twist is, they're apparently struggling to actually serve the lawsuit papers to Deal's CEO, Alex Bouaziz, because he's reportedly in Dubai.
Right, and Dubai sometimes comes up in discussions about places where extradition can be complicated. It just adds another layer of complexity to an already messy legal fight. Shows the challenges of international business disputes.
Okay, on a slightly calmer note, Notion's getting into email. Notion Mail.
Looks like it. An AI-powered email client that works with Gmail.
Seems like every app wants to do everything these days with AI helping out.
Pretty much the trend, yeah. Notion Mail promises AI to help organize, draft replies, schedule meetings, search, all the stuff we struggle with in our inboxes.
And since it links with Gmail, may be useful for people already deep in the Notion ecosystem.
That's probably the idea, trying to create that seamless all-in-one workflow. Another example of AI trying to make our digital lives less chaotic.
We'll see how that goes. For car fans, the Lucid Gravity EV reviews are coming in. Over-engineering at its best is one description I saw.
Yeah, Lucid's definitely aiming high in that luxury EV space. It's getting crowded there.
Competing with the big names, both EV and traditional SUVs.
Right. Lucid's known for range and performance. Looks like the Gravity SUV follows that path. That over-engineering comment suggests they're really focused on the tech details, pushing boundaries. Could be a strong contender.
Okay, but back to AI for a sec. A slightly worrying bit. OpenAI's newer models, the mini ones, O3 and O4 Mini, they're apparently hallucinating more.
Yeah, that came out of their own internal testing, apparently. It's counterintuitive, right? You expect newer to be better, more accurate.
Definitely. Why would that happen?
Well, OpenAI themselves said more research is needed. It kind of shows that AI progress isn't always straightforward. You might gain speed or efficiency, but lose something else, like factual reliability.
So making them smaller or faster might have unintended side effects on accuracy. That's important to keep in mind.
Very important, especially as we rely on these models more and more.
Okay, now for something different. A kid's show with a crypto wallet built in.
Yep, going nowhere. From We Ghosted Media and Meliminal One, which is Neil Stephenson's Web3 startup.
Wow. Introducing kids to crypto wallets and letting them influence the story.
Yeah.
That's bold.
It's definitely novel, raises all sorts of questions about teaching kids financial literacy, digital ownership. Very early. Could be interesting, could be controversial. We'll have to see how it lands.
Yeah, definitely one to watch. Quick hits on the startup scene. Techstars is boosting its funding.
Yeah, up to $220,000. Matching Y Combinator's terms. Good news for early-stage startups.
Keeps things competitive, gives founders more runway.
Exactly. More resources hopefully means more innovation bubbling up.
And less positive news.
Right.
Community colleges are fighting off bot students trying to get financial aid. Seriously.
Unfortunately, yeah. It shows how automated fraud is becoming a problem everywhere, even in education. Costs institutions real money. Requires better security.
Man, you really can't escape the bots. Okay, well, after all that tech intensity, maybe we need this last item. The Great Moose Migration livestream.
Huh. Yeah, apparently it's just 24 hours of relaxing nature scenes. Maybe a good digital palate cleanser.
Sounds perfect. A bit of nature after all this code and controversy.
Definitely a good way to unplug.
All right, well, that wraps up our deep dive for this week. What an intense period in tech. So many changes, potential disruptions. Hopefully this gave everyone a clearer picture.
Yeah, lots to think about.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.
Let us know what you think. Which story caught your eye the most? See you next time.